Hey guys.
Hi.
Are we live now?
Yeah, sorry, we were supposed to go live at noon. We've been doing the show, and I forgot to push the button, so that's my fault. I apologize. We're gonna sum up, and then we'll come back. This first episode has just really been a horrible experience, but I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to you guys, because we were rolling. I was like, wait a minute, that button is the wrong color.
Are we doing the intro or doing anything?
Welcome to The Broken Dead. Thanks for joining us today. We're talking The Walking Dead, Season 10, Episode 1. And we've got some news, teasers, speculation of what's to come, Season 10 premiere. This is The Broken Dead.
This mouse isn't working either.
Oh, almost there. All right. So, sorry, she's having some issues with the mouse too. We're just having all kinds of technical difficulties with The Broken Dead here.
Why is that? What's that little thing in the bottom?
It got bumped.
So how do I unbump?
Go all the way to the right.
Beside the little things?
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes. It went away. What the heck?
There we are. Okay.
There we go.
Sorry, guys. This program is a learning curve, and going live is a learning curve, and we appreciate your patience with us. Really sorry. We were supposed to go live at noon. We were supposed to go live Sunday night. After today, bet we will be live 10 o'clock Central Standard Time every Sunday night.
10 p.m.
10 p.m.
Yep.
So, my name is Dylan.
I'm Lydia.
This is Quin.
We just want to say thanks for joining us, even though it's taken 1,000 years for you to join us because we're crazy. Whether you're new to the show or you're returning, we're glad that you're along for this stupid ride, and I hope you'll join us live on YouTube every Sunday, like Dylan said, at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please like and subscribe and hit the little bell icon
Ding, ding.
so that you know that when we post new videos. Podcast listeners, please leave us 5 stars in your podcast app, or you can check us out at the website at www.broken.pictures.com. If you don't know that we do the FOMO Show Tuesdays before this show, we do that every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube, where we talk about the top 3 things in pop culture that you may have missed. We're also going to get into some spoiler territory for The Broken Dead, The Walking Dead. We're going to talk about that, and it's going to be no holds barred, so you just listen to what we say.
Yep. And if you got something to say, add to it. Go ahead and put it in the comments in the chat there. That's part of the live experience that we were wanting to do, even though we're is a big learning curve, and we're figuring this out as we go. Thank you for sticking with us and just going along for the ride. And also, so we've been talking for near an hour already, and so we're just kind of recap and then close out. But I did want to say in front of everybody, just this is Quin's 1 year. Like, he started last year on episode 1 for season 9 of The Walking Dead with us, and we've done 35 episodes of the FOMO Show. Lydia, we've been doing this season 7, I think. So yeah, just thank you guys for sticking around, especially through hard times like this where we just talked for an hour and none of it is out there.
Not recorded or anything.
Yeah.
It's gone forever.
Sorry.
At least you didn't hear the cat throwing up.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, the cat didn't.
The cat was being so bad.
Yeah, so maybe it's a blessing in a weird way.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and rate the episode, though.
Yes.
If that's okay. I'm going to rate it 9 tomatoes picked by Negan, because it seems like that's a carryover arch theme thing we got going on.
Yeah.
So I thought it was 9 tomatoes picked by Negan. It was worth that much.
8 little piggies. Just because still making stupid decisions in certain parts. So.
Yeah. I didn't give it a number. I feel mixed about it. It's a premiere episode that we're we're solidly in Quentin Tarantino territory with style, even with the posters that were released, and stylistically as far as storytelling and the way everything looks and the way everything's playing out. Gimple borrowed a lot from Damon Lindelof and the style he used from Lost and that kind of thing. But Angel of Kang is experimenting, and it's a different show than it was originally. You have to bring a different
mindset.
Mm-hmm. You know, originally it was more grounded in reality. This one, it's obviously jumped the shark with Carl's death, but it's still a good show. You know, and we're still watching it. We still love it. And and it's still way better than Fear. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it has its faults just like every other show, but it's still quality entertainment.
yeah, it's a great show.
Yep. All right. Well, before we get into the discussion, let's read this episode description. Episode 1 of Season 10, The Lines We Cross. The group in Oceanside continues to train in case the Whispers return. Tensions are high as our heroes struggle to hold on to the concept of civilization.
Speaking of the concept of civilization, I really like how they toyed this episode with, are we good? Are we bad? Are we the bad guys? Aaron's struggling with that. He's always been the moral compass of the show. Kind of even so much so that he took the moral compass side of Rick's story arc where he lost his arm. And I really like that they're playing with the concept of civilization, like what instigates bad and what causes you to become a whisperer. And I mean, you mentioned it in part 1 of where we thought we were talking to y'all about Carol and Alpha are two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
And so their concept of civilization to the Whisperers is fine. That is civilization to them. That is how the world should have been. Exactly, you know. So I'm here for the ride. I'm enjoying it.
That was just a part that I just thought about. I didn't talk about before. So actually something new. In the show when they were showing Lydia, and she was in class and was trying to get her to read and everything. She's like, "There's no reason I need to read. It just makes you weak."
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely got some of those, and then connecting with Negan over things like that could potentially be dangerous.
But it is really cool and shows a different dynamic because when we saw, I brought this point up long time ago whenever we were talking about Carl writing the letters and how crappy his handwriting is. It's like he was a kid.
Yeah.
When the apocalypse started, he didn't start school. That was before the air. Like. She is a child in the way of the world. Like, she doesn't know how to read. She probably can't write. Like, none of that matters. And I get that. I get how this is what she knew. She's trying to adapt the best she can. But reading is stupid for kids. No one wanted to learn how to read when they got taught how to read.
Yeah. And it's just like, we always see the memes about, this kind of thing just makes me want to go live in a cabin in the woods and swear off civilization. It's like, well, they really have that option.
That's the option they got.
But like, that is the benefit of art and literature and reading and writing and arithmetic and all that. And
that's what separates civilization.
Exactly. That because they can communicate with other civilizations and build upon each other and keep humanity going and getting stronger and all that.
Which I really like how they jump to mentioning that with Carol, where she's like, I get what Maggie's doing out there with Georgie, bringing a different type of civilization to people. I get that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it myself, but I get it. And I like that they aren't pretending that Maggie's just like, whatever, like, she's doing something worth a purpose while she's gone, I enjoy that. Right. Yeah. And super hard.
And even bringing the civilization thing back into the conversation between, almost said Rick, Daryl and Carol, where they're kind of cut from the same cloth as the Whisperers and Lydia and Negan. Well, Negan not so much. He needs people. but they're fighters, and they've always been on the outside, and they're just trying to find a peace.
Civilization has always been crappy for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're just trying to find a peace for themselves, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, both meanings of the word, you know.
Right.
And so that's why they're talking about running away and going off together and getting away from civilization. So I mean, they're different, exploring a lot of different aspects of what civilization means to different people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again, like that form of communication that brings civilization up and creates a society is carried over with Daryl again when he's learning ASL to communicate with Connie. I mean, Connie is writing on the papers to communicate to him because obviously it's harder to understand than it is to actually sign. Which I love that she's like, you sign with a country accent or a southern accent. It's just like, he's like, how do I sign with a country accent? He's like, yeah, you know, you're kind of right.
If you watch Daryl from season 1, he's been signing for a long time anyway.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I love the
like
story
Jack
that's between Connie and Daryl right now. I appreciate the level of intimacy that they're showing that Daryl and Connie have. Like, obviously they haven't shown them kiss or do anything romantic necessarily, but they're showing a connection. Yeah, they're showing that level of, it's still intimate because he's the only one. We're only seeing him as the only one learning ASL. And so that's still an intimate thing.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that and his effort to do that because I feel like his character arc has come a long way where before he would have been the Lydia of that situation of like, why do I need to know ASL? ASL
absolutely.
stupid. But now he's like, hey, I'm going to learn this so much so that I carry the book around with me.
Yeah. And so how are you feeling about Carol and Daryl versus Daryl and Connie?
I like that they tied a bow on the fact that there's nothing romantic between Daryl and Carol because I think that that's what made it so easy to ship them was because it was this, I don't know, the prison happened so long ago, but it was so cute and we love it and we're holding on to it. But they finally tied a bow on it and was like, hey, this isn't a romantic relationship. This is a friendship. They are here for each other because they're so similar because of the past that they share, the connection that they share of people who are abused live a different life than anybody else could because of the torment that they've been put through. And so I like that they were like, hey, in case you forgot, this is why they connect with each other. This is why they're best friends. And that's not going to change. Yeah. So even though I obviously wanted them to get together because of the prison and because of all of that before, I appreciate the closure that they gave. Yeah, I mean, whenever they're riding their Daryl's motorcycle through there, I definitely got a Swayze vibe of Dirty Dancing Your Wild thing kind of going on faster. Like, it was kind of weird at first. But I appreciate that the friendship bracelet scene happened because it did give you closure. And it's not like Daryl's two-timing Carol over here with Connie.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like that
that's
anymore.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Like, they tied a bow on it so that people don't feel like that's okay during the apocalypse because we saw how it worked out for Lori. It's obviously not okay.
Yep.
I mean, poor Michonne is raising a baby that wasn't even the person that she loves baby. It wasn't even Rick's baby.
Yeah.
It was Shane's baby.
Yeah.
He was raising it, and now Michonne's raising it. So it's a double adopted baby.
To her.
Poor Judith.
Oh, even though she's a grown man.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to say I do like that they've grown past the infatuation in their relationship, Daryl and Carol, and they've moved. It's gotten deeper
And they're real, 100% real with each other. Like the whole time they're playing around with the idea, the idea of running off together, going to New Mexico, because they understand each other. And that is something that a lot of the characters don't have. They don't have someone who they can just 100% be real with. But Daryl and Carol show that different type of moral compass of like, hey, I'm tied to someone, but not so much so that I don't do what's healthy for me. Carol would love to stay on land with Daryl and really love to go on that motorcycle trip, but she knows that that's not okay. And she knows that that's not what she needs. And she needs to get on the boat. Even when the next boat goes out, I'm on it.
Yeah.
You know.
But at the same time, she's going back to her mode of operation where Ezekiel found her in the first place. and then she lived the civilized life and played the part, you know.
But I mean, you think about it, she lost Henry again,
Yeah.
so she lost a person again. I know everybody loses everybody, but she was just now coming back. She didn't want to. She just now decided to, got attached, and look where it got her, kind of thing. I can understand her point of view, her concept of it. I think that she's still on the top of her arc, and that's why she saw Alpha in the last scene of that episode, is because there is just so much going on that Carol could have very easily been Alpha, but she's not.
Yeah,
she
she came
knows
very
the
close.
importance of, I'm just going to get on the boat and go, you know.
She was telling Rick no one more time away from becoming Alpha.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's what it boils
That's
down
right.
to.
She could have been the big bad that they ran into again
Right.
down the road.
And I think that, I mean, that's an important piece that they're tying together. I really like that they're not just sweeping it under the rug. It's not subliminal. I love Angela Kane's take on it of just like, hey, I'm going to acknowledge all of these things. We're going to talk about it. We're going to flesh it out. And then we're going to keep going.
Yeah.
I enjoy that part of it.
I feel like they're like we talked about this earlier, but Daryl has obviously grown, and he's growing into the leadership role, even though it's reluctant. But Carol seems to be going, like, every time. Grant, I'm not trying to belittle the fact that she's had loss and struggle, but she keeps going back every time she runs into something. She doesn't go through it. She backs down.
Because her going through it is Alpha. Her going through it is look at the flowers. Enjoy these cookies. That is the her going through it.
I don't know.
I think she is
there's
self-aware
obviously-
enough to know that she knows what a monster looks like.
Well, yeah, she knows what a monster looks like, but there is a healthy way to
Right, and that's
get
Daryl.
past that. Yeah, but I'm just saying, I feel like with rehashing this right here, with her character, that they're putting their finger on it in order to do something else with it and go a different
Maybe
direction.
in the future, yeah, but you've got all these characters like Aaron, Michonne, Daryl, who experience loss and they're having to move forward. So I appreciate the other take on like, hey, this is what it looks like to not move forward. I mean, we see
But not us.
Ezekiel is dealing with the loss of Henry in a totally different way.
Yeah.
He dropped the facade. He's no longer King Ezekiel. He's Ezekiel out here just doing what he knows how to do. He's trying to get through it. But then you've got the other side of the coin that is refreshing to me because not everybody goes through it the same.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But at the same time, as far as her being a main character, they need more interesting things for her to do than just go through the same thing.
I think
Just
they'll touch on that.
circular-
I think it's coming.
A cyclical
It is
story
coming.
arc.
I feel like it is coming, and I feel like they might, since I mean they're already off script, they're already doing things like with however they feel like. She might
Yeah,
get
'cause Carol's
she
Michonne
might get
now,
the rest of
basically.
Negan's storyline for the Whisperers arc, and she might be the
Oh.
one that meets Alpha and
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of meeting Alpha, when she saw her in the last scene, I personally don't think that was Alpha specifically. I do think that she saw something. I don't think that she saw Alpha because the Alpha that we see is Alpha at the gates, the grungy, dirty, nasty, same clothes wearing Alpha. And for me, if it was real Alpha, Carol would have dropped a bolt on her. Like, it would have been that quick.
Because we've seen in the teaser, she's still seeing Henry too. She's having some
Exactly.
issues.
I think that they're
Like some Rick
establishing
Laurie type
her
things.
as an unreliable narrator to cause a little bit of that mental chaos that they're looking for.
Kind of like what we were hoping was happening with Michonne and RJ last
Yeah,
season.
exactly. I mean, we wanted it.
Yeah,
Oh man, yeah, that kid's super real.
Yeah.
he's super real.
If you didn't notice, he is like digging faces out of the sand, super real.
Brave man story, super real.
You talking about my daddy? Yep. He's real.
The brave man.
Lives in
It was
our
really,
hearts.
it was really sweet that Judith was telling him the story in that way. Like she was a whole adult because she is a grown man after all.
Yeah,
But
grown man Jude.
That for
She
me-
was there training. Time out. She was there in the beginning training. Yeah.
She was an integral part, like one of their finishing moves. Like
the fact that they
open,
had a
Judith,
system.
wham!
Yeah. Yep. It wasn't that they left her behind at home to care for RJ and defend him, which would be the smart thing. If I was Michonne, I wouldn't leave my kid with somebody else. I would have left him with Judith, but whatever. Wasn't Michonne, wasn't Aaron, wasn't anybody else up there with the spear. It was Judith.
Yep.
And also, I like the fact that she's becoming a more integral part of the show. And they're saying that she's going to be here, you know, even though we're losing Denai Guerrero this season. We got to figure out how she's going to leave her kids behind. Because,
Gotta die.
you know,
And they're
we
not,
know
they're
that,
not dying.
Yeah, we know that Judith isn't dying. We don't know about RJ, but I mean, who sorry, I got an eyelash that's like digging into my eyeball. Welcome to live, folks.
For the second time.
Woo! Actually, third time.
get on
Third
with
time's a charm. Just get on. So, yeah, so we got to figure out how is she going to leave and it still makes sense that she would leave her kids. I mean, granted,
Yeah.
Judith can take care of herself, but Michonne's a mama. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she's a mama bear. But also, did you guys notice in the opening that when they pull back and you see on the hill you've got Carl's cross and Glenn's cross, and then in the middle you've got Michonne's katana. Now you've got Judith.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I didn't notice that. I didn't even know that was Carl and Glenn's grave.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't get
paused
that.
it and I was like,
You mean you paused on the rewatch that was without me that
no,
you're just
I watched
now
the
bringing
opening.
up?
I watched the opening just because I had to do all the artwork. I didn't know what style. But yeah, I didn't watch the show without you.
No,
I
I'm
ain't
saying
stupid.
you're not listening. Other than Carol seeing Alpha and Sadiq's weird hippie
Yeah.
lifestyle, I
Yeah,
really
he's seeing stuff too, for sure.
and I'm glad that they're addressing that people aren't just okay after
Yeah.
their friends and family got murdered.
Yeah, it's
I
an
like
interesting
that.
way for us to see what happened in the barn too. I like that about it.
Oh, yep. Because, yeah, we had that flashback.
He was the only
just-
one left alive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
had the flashback. He keeps seeing Alpha just kind of stand there looking at the machete and all that.
Yeah, at first I was really confused
Sitting.
about that. I was like, is this supposed to be like some form of omnipotence or omniscience where he saw it? And then I was like, oh crap, he lived. He was the one in the barn that lived.
Yeah, he's the one who lived.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Live to tell the story.
Yep. So also, oh shoot, what's the other doctor's name?
Ugh.
Derek?
Derek?
Dwight?
Dante.
Dante.
Why'd I say
Another comic book
Derek?
character making his
Yeah.
debut. Who, spoiler alert, ends up with Maggie.
Yeah.
But right now he's super douchey. So
Yeah.
we're gods in the apocalypse, bro.
He's gonna die. Maybe? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, 'cause-
Maggie's not here, so who knows?
Yeah, because we were kind of hoping that Alden would end up fulfilling that role, but he ended up with Edith. Or
She's dead, though.
yeah, I said Edith. It's not Edith. Oh my gosh,
Juan Javier
how am I forgetting?
Cardenas plays Dante.
Juan Javier Cardenas. Neat. That's a name.
That really is.
But we'll see where his arc ends up going. I mean, we know at some point in time, Michonne and Ezekiel are going to get together.
Yeah, obviously.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know if
He's
they're
on
gonna
the
get
rebound.
together.
Yeah.
I think that they'll kiss.
I get his,
don't think
I
that they'll
get
get
his story going her direction, but I don't get her story going his direction. Like, how is, like, she's super hardcore. Like, maybe she's ready to move on or something.
We
but
both have dreadlocks. That's what happened.
Oh my gosh. And that happened in the comic too, but
Yeah, I mean that's who she was originally with in the comics, and then Commonwealth. That's
yeah.
the major events. There's
I think that
details
they
in
will
there, but-
only do it to kill him.
Yep.
I think that they will only attach him to her to give her more arc.
Yeah, which is sad. Like like what they call fridging. It's like they do it with male characters all the time, where they kill the girlfriend or the wife or whatever, the daughter, which is it's based on a Green Lantern comic, where to push his story forward, he found his girlfriend in the fridge dead, right? So that's like they talk about like fridging the female characters just to push the male characters' story forward. So it's kind of like they're fridging him for Michonne this time. It seems like. I mean, they aren't. We're speculating, but also you did mention the Commonwealth. Just want to say another little bit of revelation that's out there right now is on the helicopter and on Jada.
Judas?
No.
Jada?
Wow.
Judas? No.
Janice.
No, we're all wrong.
Wow. The one that saved Rick.
Literally was just looking at it.
So we've got
Anne. She's Anne later on.
Anne, yeah. So we got the 3 circles on the helicopter, and then we're watching, catching up on Fear because of the stupid tie-in that trying to bring it all together, but
Jadis, Pollyanna McIntosh.
Jadis, yeah. So we're finding out what those 3 circles are. They represent 3 communities, and the CRM, which was teased and debuted in Fear the Walking Dead, each stand are initials for one of those 3 communities. We've got the Commonwealth, obviously, and then we've got which I think Fear is running into one of those. I think might be the Commonwealth. And then we've got the new show, which is Monument. Well, that was kind of like the shooting name for the show. They even mentioned it in the teaser about we're monuments for the past and all this stuff. So that is that community. And they're kind of like a coalition, kind of like, we've got Alexandria Hilltop and Oceanside right now. But the third one starts with an R, and apparently that's the one that Rick went to. So is this going to be Ricktopia?
I feel like that one has to do something with military. Like that's the only like with the is there are they an A or are they a B, maybe an alpha or a beta or anything like that.
I personally think A and B are after and before. Like, are they dead? Are they dead or not? Type thing. Are they walkers?
Because they might also, with them being military, they would also have the sciences because they're still trying to find a cure, which is why Rick's movies are going to get a little bit more weird because they're still trying to figure out, they're turning to zombies. Why we're really turning into zombies? Can we reverse this process or any way to turn them into a dead body? Okay, I'm done.
That's why we're not killing Eugene.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because he's the intro. He's the avatar for that.
All right, cool.
So, and just the intro to this season or this episode was like in space. I mean, it was a pretty cool thing. But they have said in the Rick movies they're going to get a little bit more sci-fi. So, and we did see in Fear some of the, I forget what community that was, where they were killing people and timing how long it took them to die, and the races and sizes and genders and all that kind of stuff to see if there was a correlation.
Talking about the governor's community?
No, this is in Fear the Walking Dead.
Oh, in Fear? Okay.
Y'all talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back.
So, crap, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, we watched Spider-Man Far From Home on Friday night. And there's a scene, not to spoil anything, there's a satellite rotating in space. And it says Stark Enterprises on it. Because he created all kinds of stuff. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Except for Saturday night, we watched The Walking Dead, and the first thing we see is a satellite. And I was like, why is Stark in... What? I'm so confused. And then I was like, oh, that says USSR on it. That's not the same thing. I was really confused for a really stupid reason. But if you haven't looked on fandom on The Walking Dead wiki, it's like a Wikipedia page for The Walking Dead. It says CRM refers to a network of 3 communities of survivors first introduced in Season 8 of the AMC's Walking Dead. They appear in Season 5 of Fear the Walking Dead, where they are encountered by Morgan's group, particularly Althea, and it will also appear in upcoming spinoff. So that Althea. So the group possesses one or multiple helicopters that are used as transportation to collect new survivors and search for supplies.
I can't search that.
Ooh,
Athena?
Siri. There's no end.
Oh, no, it's not.
I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
But pre-apocalypse, post-apocalypse. So there's a lot of different things on that page. So it's speculating what's to come with that. Also riddled in are some actual facts. And so check that out if you haven't already. Really interesting stuff. On the Walking Dead wiki page. There was something else I was going to talk about to do with that.
Oh no.
We've been doing this for like 4 hours, so my thoughts are kind of all running in together.
Same.
Sorry.
Negan's cool.
It's live, folks.
It's live. Negan's cool.
Release the Negan. Woo!
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't have anything else to say.
What'd I miss?
All I said was reading from this Fandom Walking Dead wiki page. I read about CRM.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's see. We didn't talk about with the satellite. Where do you think that's going with Eugene? Obviously, he's going to build something and probably reach out further, maybe contact.
Yeah, to bolster the radio signals.
And I didn't understand that. I thought the big thing that Eugene was running to say was that, hey, comms are coming down, satellites are starting to come down, we're going to lose radio signal. Because radios are transferred via antennas that are on the planet, not satellites. But I would think if materials that are meant to be in space and withstand a lot of stuff are coming down, the antennas would start to deteriorate and they would start to tear down. So I thought that's what was happening. I didn't realize he was predicting the fire.
Yeah, I don't know, because we've got like 100-year-old bridges that are still super strong, you know.
I mean, that's different though. Like they're still showing a little bit of wear and tear. Infrastructure
have to be maintenance.
Right, and so you think about like antennas that are metal that really don't erode or like anything like that. I get that, but wouldn't they be knocked down? Like I just thought that's where they were going. Is like, hey, comms are starting.
If they have something like it's constantly messing with them, they'll be knocked down. But they can make their own like little radio antennas. It just won't have as much range as like.
Right, but I thought
like
that was going to be part of the. I thought that was going to be part of the plot device for this season, is that they couldn't communicate and the whispers were coming back, and it was going to be like each group in like. Coming into contact with the whispers again. Okay.
If you're a structural engineer, let us know in the comments.
We won't cut your head off.
Yeah, we want to know.
But the satellite fell because it got so with it orbiting in space, it's within the Earth's gravitational pull and everything. It's just rotating around. Something must have bumped it or knocked it off its normal trajectory and make it fall back into Earth's atmosphere, where it got grabbed by the gravity and then pulled down. It just luckily happened to land in
right there.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of ironic too.
In Fear, like season 2, I forget the
I don't know,
character.
you have to be more specific.
Somebody was talking to a Russian astronaut on the radio.
A Russian astronaut? I don't remember that.
Fear season 2 on the boat.
They're talking to somebody in space?
Yeah. Or no, maybe.
I don't remember.
Maybe it was somebody posing as a Russian astronaut. I can't remember. There was a mention of that. But anyways, I was kind of confused by him needing parts to push that story forward because of the last scene of last season's episode where he rushes to the radio and somebody's calling. And this, like, we've jumped at least a year because Rosita's baby is born, right? So, I mean, close to a year-ish, I guess. And there's no mention of that yet. I mean, maybe they're going to get into it, but there's no obvious implications to that call almost a year ago.
I mean, all they said was Rosita was like, I'm mad that you got that stupid radio working because it's all Gabe's done. It's been on the radio.
Right.
So it implies that it's fairly new, except for how do they charge the batteries that go in the radio?
Well, they got a windmill. I mean, you got Eugene on hand. He's going to make batteries.
That's true. He made bullets.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what he'll do with the satellite debris.
I mean,
I think that they're definitely going to get in trouble for taking it. That's the only reason that they took it.
Crossing, yeah. I mean, you can charge a potato.
What the
charge a clock
Whispers
with a
gonna
potato,
do with
so.
satellites?
I mean, but like, even if it wasn't that you took from us, that landed on our property and you took it, I'm mad.
Were you gonna put the fire out?
I mean, that alone is fine.
Yeah.
You did yourself and someone else a service. But then you took it further and you said, hey, this thing that landed, I put out the fire so I get to benefit from it a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, even though the Whispers don't give a crap about technology,
it's the principle of it.
It's the principle, yeah. And it's just a reason for them to, because if you look at in the teaser for next episode, Beta and Alpha are kind of discussing, that it's been a while. They're probably, getting used to it and crossing the borders by now and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, they're probably coming ready to deal with expecting
they're just looking for something
exactly, yeah.
To come unglued about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, I don't know necessarily what they're going to do with the satellite specifically.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and that's a good MacGuffin little plot device there.
Maybe they only did it so that Eugene can turn into the Hulk in some way because
radiation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean that Luke is like, hey man, radiation.
As he walks
and he's
right
like,
up next to him.
We're literally all being radiated right now. I don't know what's wrong with you.
The bed right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, we already got born with this disease. I don't know what you're looking for. It's like they only did that to propel something else.
Eugene went dark on a dime.
Eugene's been dark.
Yeah.
Drinking pickle juice to be able to get to sleep at night. He's been dark.
He's full of vinegar and piss and vinegar.
Ew.
I
think it's called salt and vinegar.
No, well, that's chips.
I know.
Isn't that the saying, like somebody's full of piss and vinegar? Is like they're just. Anyways.
Well, you come from a different time than us, so I really don't.
Oh, come on. Come on. Okay. Throw me under the bus again.
Yep.
Right.
I don't have anything else.
So, so let's get into the Walking Dead news just real quick. New York Comic Con was this past weekend. We got a few little tidbits about what's to come for the Walking Dead universe. TWDU is what they're calling it now. Scott Gimple, who's been saying since last season, we're going to start telling you stuff. But I can't tell you yet. It's still saying we're about to start telling you stuff. I can't tell you yet. So apparently they've got a lot to tease out and still a lot more to tease out. Because I want to say 10 weeks before season 1 or episode 1 started, every week they released something. And and we did get at Comic-Con the teaser for the third show. Takes place in Virginia with kids from the Monument who don't know anything about the apocalypse.
Where are we currently at? Where is Oceanside and Alexandria?
I want to say it's around D.C. and Virginia.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, no, yeah.
So when you said Virginia, I was like, what?
Yeah.
I thought we were in
It can't
Virginia.
be that far.
Yeah.
Not that far, but when you don't have cars, it's far.
Yeah.
Right.
It's got to still be near D.C. because that's where they went when they found Alexandria.
And that's where they got the wagon from
and-
the library.
Maybe
Right,
on the
yeah.
other
And she
side
was a
of DC.
politician. Deanna was a politician before
Yeah.
that. So
Maybe they're down by geography's hard. Maybe they're down close to Maryland where because there's a little dip in there, like the bay where Maryland and Delaware. Isn't that Delaware?
obviously close to the ocean.
Yeah.
Right, Oceanside.
I don't know.
Yeah. So
If you have a map, send us a map. I'd love to see the map.
it's a map. It's a map. I'm the map.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm losing it. So Scott Gimple's teasing things out. Still got a lot to tell. Lauren Cohan crashed the panel. She's coming back full-time for season 11. She will be back part-time for season 10, which is awesome as far as the cast. I mean, we're losing somebody that is a huge anchor for the show, Michonne Denai Guerrera. And we're getting Maggie back, and it sucks we're not getting them at the same time, but we're getting an OG character back, so it kind of grounds the show still-ish, even though she's been gone. But yeah, go find that video where she crashed the panel. It was pretty cool.
Super real quick. And I won't go. We don't have to go like super into it. 'Cause I don't. Yeah. Maggie came out dressed as Negan when she crashed the panel. What if Maggie's coming back as the villain because she's been gone, hasn't been sending letters, and then she comes back, has a plan to like basically destroy or take over the communities and like integrate them, but not in a nice way, and then she kills Michonne because Michonne figures it out.
So she comes back to like conquer them almost.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
like integrate or die.
I don't know, because if they kill Michonne, like, yeah, that would solve the issue of like why she leaves her kids, but there's got to be a meeting between her and Rick again. They've got to meet up again.
She sees him as Maggie cuts her head off. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh wow!
With her own katana.
Oh!
I don't know.
Yeah, that would really suck. And that's a whole nother thing too, is with Negan being partially integrated back into society. He's Maggie
just hiding
Maggie
the whole time.
being washed over with that all over again, unless she's moved on. You know what I mean? Like that's a whole nother, you know, bag of
woohoo.
cats right there.
Yeah.
Skeletons that come out of the closet. Yeah.
So and also Michael Cutlitz is going to direct some episodes this season.
Episode 4 and 7.
Yep. And as well as the new show that is still unnamed, but we know that they're from the Monument community.
Michael Cutlitz being Abraham.
Yes.
If you don't already know.
And
I don't get that.
Also, we heard last season that Andrew Lincoln was shadowing last season so that he could direct episodes this season, I think, too.
Yeah, but whether or not that happened, it's not listed on IMDb or anything like that.
Or maybe he did direct this episode last season, and that's what I'm thinking. But another, we got I'm going blank on his name. The guy that ends up with Maggie in the comic.
Dante.
We got Dante. We got a new character this season already, but casting announcement has come out. Paola Lazaro will be the princess.
Who's the princess?
So, from what I read, she's kind of sassy. She's Latina. They are traveling like to the Commonwealth, and they pass through Pittsburgh, and she's one of the only ones left in Pittsburgh. So she calls herself the Princess of Pittsburgh, not the Queen, because that makes her sound too old.
I like her.
Yeah, she wears like a shag carpet type jacket that's pink.
Ooh, so you mean Zombieland girl?
Well, only
She's not ditzy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's not ditzy.
But she wears a pink
No, she's a
shag
badass.
jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right.
Yep. So teasers for next episode. It looks like another new character, Gamma. As far as the Whisperers go, I can't tell if I didn't watch the opening minutes that have been released for next episode, but I did watch the teaser, and it looks like Gamma is kind of throwing a wrench in the dynamic that Alpha and Beta have, and almost to the point where Alpha is wondering if Beta is going to support Gamma for a coup, right?
Yeah.
Because she seems new, she's rising in the ranks, and she's a badass or whatever. But I can't tell if this is a flashback or if this is current, outside of Beta's mention that the communities will potentially be crossing the border. So maybe it's going back and forth, maybe not.
Right.
But I think there is a scene with Lydia, potentially, or maybe you just asked if
I
Gamma
asked
was
that
Lydia.
because I thought, I mean, they were talking about like, I forget what he said. He just basically was like, really? You're going to let her keep doing this? Like, she's causing disturbance in the group or something like that. And I thought he was referring to Lydia because there's a young person handcuffed and chained with a mask on. I thought it was Lydia. I didn't know. So that was just me asking.
Yeah, and we know how Alpha deals with coups. So, yeah.
Are you challenging me?
It wasn't that quick though.
Oh yeah.
It was definitely like.
yeah. Yeah. So is she? I mean, is she going soft after Lydia's gone?
Surely not.
That was her reason, kind of like
She
Rick's
knows,
reason was
yeah.
Carl, you know. But
Yeah.
so next episode, you want to read that? Or do you,
Oh,
I read it before, but I'm cool if you want to read it.
you can read it.
Okay, next episode is called "We Are the End of the World." The description is a flashback reveals the origins of Alpha and Beta. Alpha attempts to toughen up Lydia as they prepare to walk with the dead. The Whisperers create their herd. So it is a flashback to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Some of it is.
All right,
some
it literally says flashback in the description.
Yeah, but
So
I didn't
I
know
would've
if
read
it was
that
the whole
first.
thing. You're the one who typed it.
I know, right? It's been a long couple days, folks.
It's only been one day. Is the thing.
It feels like a week.
But thanks for joining us.
Yeah, so this is the end of the show. I'm
Yep.
Dylan.
I'm Lydia.
This is Quinn.
And thanks for joining us. Hope you'll join us live on Sunday nights, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube. And I promise the show will get better. So
Yeah.
stick around. Please like and subscribe. Hit the little bell icon.
Ding.
So you know when we drop a new video. Podcast listeners, please leave us 5 stars in your podcast app. And check out the website at www.broken.picturesno.com. Thanks and goodbye.
See ya.
Peace.